Hello, I'm the Pterodactyl, and I am continuing my Legend of Zelda timeline video. Today, we're going to be taking a crack at the adult timeline. Last time, we went from the creation of the world all the way to when the timeline decided to split into 3 separate parts. We're going down my least favorites, so that way I can get it out of the way. Full disclosure, I've only played one of the 3 games that takes place here, because the other 2... I will get to that. I will get to why I don't like the other 2 in a little bit. So yeah, least favorite of the timelines, even though it has objectively the funniest concept for a Zelda game within this timeline. And I'll get there. It is the one that I have played. Do you guys like my microphone? This is my gaming mic that I usually just have hooked up to my computer, but then I realized I could get an adapter so that way I could hook this up to my phone, and therefore, maybe, hopefully, we'll stop hearing my dogs barking in the backyard in the background. Yeah, while editing, I have to, pause, take out an earbud, and be like, okay, the dogs aren't actually barking, that's in my audio. Dang it. Second note. So there was a problem in part 1, where at 27 minutes in, the audio from about 32 minutes in decided to just time travel backwards. And I apologize for that. There was a problem exporting it, I guess. But also, that's so much funnier, and even if I did know how to fix it, I wouldn't. Because it's funnier like this. It's more unhinged like this. So we're gonna live with it and say that it was on purpose. Yeah, I think I've ran out of things to stall with. Oh, yeah, I made a mistake during Skyward Sword. So the time loop that happens there, it's 1,000 years instead of 100 years. Slight difference. I also made a mistake during the Interloper War, but I'll handle that one when we get to the child timeline. That's not for the adult timeline. It has no consequence to the adult timeline. It does matter to the child timeline. How many times can I say timeline? Okay, it's been enough stalling. I need to get to the game I don't want to get to. Our story takes place following the events of Ocarina of Time, but instead of following Link back to the past where he changes things, we follow the aftermath of everything else that happened. So we're essentially following Zelda's journey from that, you know? Zelda sends Link back in time, and then we see what happens to her from there. That is the best way to explain it with words. It's super confusing and hard to explain. An unknown amount of time passes between the end of Ocarina of Time and the next thing that will go right here. Unknown. It is said generations. I had to look up. The ghost wants me to have light now, I guess. I had to look up how long a generation is, and a new generation is born about every 20 to 30 years, which definitely messes with my mind. When you say generations, I feel like it should be longer than 60 years, that feels short for how much of, a heavy thing saying the word generations is. It just does not compute to my brain. Anyway, generations pass. And the strength of the 7 sages is weakening, meaning that the seal holding Ganondorf sealed away is weakening. So our favorite reincarnation of Denise's hatred returns to the land of Hyrule. And that's a problem, because he wants to do the thing again. He wants to take over again. Note that when Link traveled back in time, when he left, the Triforce of Courage shattered and split and dispersed itself among Hyrule. So it's just everywhere. The Triforce of Courage is shattered. Good job. So that's going to make it a little bit harder for Ganondorf to accomplish his plans, but it's fine. Meanwhile, the Hyrulean royal family does have the Triforce of Wisdom. Right now, it is in the hands of the king. Everybody say hi hello to King Daphne's Nohansen Hyrule.
I absolutely lost it
when I learned that the Hyrulean royal family's last name is just Hyrule. Like, rolling on the floor laughing. It's the funniest possible solution. You're telling me that every single Zelda in this game, in this entire series, her name is Zelda Hyrule? That's peak comedy. Like, that's hilarious. It's like if the President of the United States was named President America. What was I saying? Right. King Daphne's No Hansen, Hyrule. He and the people of Hyrule at this time, when Ganondorf returns, start praying for the return of the Hero of Time, Link from Ocarina of Time. Unfortunately, Link went back in time. He's no longer here. And there was another side effect for him leaving, aside from the Triforce of Courage shattering. This one is kind of more important. Like, you think that the all-powerful relic piece shattering would be, like, top dog, most dreadful thing to happen. But no, this next thing's worse, because a Link takes with him the spirit of the hero. The spirit from all the way back here of the knight that fell in love with Hylia, who then she reincarnated to reincarnate beside her, who was then cursed, so that way his spirit soul thing would be through every single time that Demise's hatred pops up. It's gone. It's gone from the adult timeline. It's never to return. So the Hero of Time can't come back. He can't even reincarnate because the soul isn't here. King Daphnes then decides, okay, no Hero of Time, I'll do it myself, and goes to confront Ganondorf, which is so brave. And he somehow lives? I'm convinced that Ganondorf is, like, really going soft on them in this, because, like, he definitely killed the King of Hyrule in Ocarina of Time. Like, definitely killed him. He killed many people in that game. But no, King Daphnes returns after getting defeated. Also, Ganondorf didn't take the Triforce of Wisdom from him. Okay. Maybe Ganondorf was too weak at the time. He could just barely get the king to back off because most of his power is still sealed beneath the Master Sword. I guess that makes sense. Anyway, King Daphnes returns to his people, and they change what they pray for. Or what they pray to. Because now, they pray for direct intervention from the Golden Goddesses. You may note that after Din, Nehru, and Furore created the world, they then took a nap. The only other time that they intervened was in the Interloper War. Because... Okay, yeah, I guess I'll go over it. I said that the spirits of the Interloper War were sent by Hylia. They were servants of Hylia. That was incorrect. But I at least have a good excuse. They were sent by the Golden Goddesses, which, when reading the text talking about it, just calls them the Goddesses. And most of the time, when a text is referring to Hylia, they'll say the Goddess. Do you see how my brain, which skips words frequently, could get mixed up? I'll be double-checking everything that I read from now on. No promises, though. But yeah, the Golden Goddesses have been napping ever since the Interloper War, but now the people are praying to them again, and it's for a very big ask. Like last time, they themselves detected the evil magic. This time, the people are like, please help us. And they're like, okay, we'll stop chilling or something, and we'll help you. They warn certain people, not everyone, mind you, just certain people, to go to the highest mountaintops in the land, and there they will be safe from Ganondorf. The king and his daughter Zelda are one of the people who gets this message, along with several of Zelda's retainers, I guess is the word for it. It's her crew, her posse. The king of Hyrule, King Daphne's no hands in Hyrule, decides that he's not going to go up to the mountains. He's going to stay in his castle and face Ganondorf, no matter the cost. He splits the Triforce of Wisdom in half and gives half of it to his daughter Zelda, and then waits. Ganondorf and his armies arrive at Hyrule Castle and attack it. They charge in, and that's when a bubble appears over it. This bubble stops all time from passing in the Palace of Hyrule Castle. And it also stops what happens next. Because the Golden Goddess's intervening was the most monkey's paw of monkey's paw wishes possible. Because wanna know what they do? You wanna know what they do? They decide to flood the world. It works. It works. Yeah, so this is the Great Flood of Hyrule, and it makes it so that way this next game, and the game after it, take place on the Great Sea, or the giant ocean that has swallowed all the land. I have a very healthy fear of the ocean. I don't want to go in it any further than, like, the beach. Even then, seaweed kind of grosses me out. And I am afraid of drowning. And more specifically, of drowning in the ocean and my body falling through the ocean, never to be found again. So that's the reason I did not play these next two games. I have no desire to be on a boat, okay? No desire whatsoever, and so these next two games freak me out. That said, generations pass again! Woo! And guess what? Ganondorf returns! That's right, a literal Deus Ex Machina shows up, and Ganondorf still manages to get past it! He's absurd! So, yeah, Ganondorf breaks free and emerges on the Great Sea. And I have to imagine he had a mental breakdown when he first saw what this world became. This man grew up in a desert. And now, suddenly, the whole world, as far as the eye can see, is just water. I would have a mental breakdown. I imagine he had a mental breakdown. Presumably, after his mental breakdown, Ganondorf then decides to go back to his good old plan of stealing the Triforce. But this time, it's not for evil, purely. This time, he's going to use his wish of the Triforce to return the land of Hyrule. No more Great Sea! I'm on Ganondorf's side on this one, okay? He's correct. Wind Waker Ganondorf is correct. Up until he starts actually trying to, find the Triforce of Wisdom. Because this is when he goes back to being evil, just not the greatest guy. Because he knows that Princess Zelda has the Triforce of Wisdom, half of it. And so, he does the most logical thing. Find a giant bird called the Helmrock King, make it his minion, and have the Helmrock King go around and kidnapping girls with pointy ears. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Good job. I'm blaming this one on the mental breakdown, okay? The kidnapping of young girls and the using a giant bird to do so, I'm blaming it on the mental breakdown of seeing the giant ocean. That's how we're going to excuse all of Ganondorf's stupidity in this, okay? Okay? We're good? Yeah. Ganondorf also does a second messed up thing, because he is preparing for the Hero of Time to return. And so, he decides to depower the Master Sword. That's right, this game. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you where we are. Oh, it's fine, I'll finish. This game that we're in, the Wind Waker. This is the only time that a magical sword loses its power for something other than just time passing. And it's kind of funny, in my opinion. The Master Sword requires 2 sages, the Sage of Earth and Wind, to constantly be singing its praise. I know that it's not actually them singing praise to the Master Sword. It is praying to the goddesses to empower the Master Sword, but I think it's really funny if Phi just requires attention, and that's what I'm going with. Yeah, these 2 sages have to constantly be singing praise to the Master Sword to get it to be power enough to seal away evil. Currently, those sages, the Sage of Earth is... Oh, I didn't write down their names. Oh well, the Sage of Earth is Azora, and the Sage of Wind is a Kokiri. Ganondorf sends his forces to kill these 2. And succeeds. Rest in peace to the very last of the Zora and Kokiri. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. The Zora and the Kokiri are gone now. Because in the Great Flood time, they evolved. I have too much power with this microphone sitting right here. I'm gonna constantly be wanting to do that. Okay. The evolution of the Zora makes me mad. The evolution of the Kokiri, I have a theory on. So I'm gonna explain those 2. And I'm gonna start with the Kokiri. The Kokiri turn into these guys. These are the Koroks. My theory is that it wasn't the flooding that caused them to evolve like this. It was the loss of the Great Deku Tree. The Great Deku Tree itself is what granted the Kokiri their immortal childhoodness. And yes, they are immortal. They do not age until they leave the bubble of power that is the Great Deku Tree's influence. Once they leave that, then they start to age like a normal Hylian and will eventually die. If you'll remember, like the first thing that happens in Ocarina of Time, the Great Deku Tree dies because of the curse that Ganondorf puts on it. Like, yeah, Link kills the Goma that is attacking the Great Deku Tree, but the Great Deku Tree took too much damage and dies. Luckily for everyone, a new Great Deku Tree sprout takes its place. But the tree still died. Meaning that 1, the Kokiri that were there would start aging until the new Great Deku Tree got its power. And 2, this is a new Great Deku Tree. And I think its power is slightly shifted. Meaning that I believe the reason that the Kokiri turned into the Koroks is due to the new power of the new Great Deku Tree, and this is just the form that it grants them. The Koroks are because of this new Great Deku Tree's power. Get it? Got it? Good. Perfect. Let's move on to the one that annoys me. The Zora. The Zora are confirmed to have evolved during the flood, okay? That's very important to note. And I have an explanation for this. But first, I just need you to hear the absurdity that is described without any further explanation. The Great Flood happens, and the Zora, like everyone else, had gone up to the mountains, right? The Zora are fish people. Why didn't they stay in the water? They should be thriving as a race right now. But instead, they went onto the mountains like everyone else, and over time, they evolved. They evolved into the Rito. The Rito are bird people. Now, the Rito don't get their wings until they come of age, and then they go up the mountain further to talk to their deity spirit, the Dragon Valoo, who will give them one of his scales, and that grants them wings. still doesn't change the fact that the fish became birds. Okay. My explanation for why this happened is that the Zora are freshwater fish and the ocean is saltwater, so they could not have survived in there, and the ones who did would evolve into a different species called the fishmen, who we barely ever see, but you do see them in Wind Waker, the game that we are in. And that is why the Zora became the Rito. Only the freshwater Zora did. The saltwater Zora became the fishmen. That is never said anywhere. It makes the most sense, but it's never said anywhere. That is enough backstory. I can now actually get us into the game we're about to play. Not me though. I'm not playing this game yet. Maybe one day when I chill out a little bit more, I'll play Wind Waker, but as of now, I don't want to play the ocean game. Welcome, friends, to the Hero of Winds. There should be an S there, but it's fine. Maybe it is just wind and I forgot. So this link has 2 games. I have been meaning to put the hero's title. Okay, this is bothering me. Pause. Hold, please. I have to turn off the overhead lights because the ghost. We're good? The Wind Waker. Yeah, I've been meaning to put the hero titles beside each of them, or in front of each of them. I lost those pieces of paper, so I didn't. And now I'm gonna have to live with that. But, here, I'll give you their titles. Hero of the Sky. This one has 4 titles. It's either the Hero of Minish, Hero of the Foresword, or Hero of the Light. That's 3. Where did I get 4 from? Because it's Foresword, Dodori. 3 titles! And this is the Hero of Time. Now we come to the Hero of Wind, whose very first game out of 2 is Wind Waker! Like I said, an unknown amount of time has passed between the Great Flood and the start of Wind Waker. We do know, though, that the legend of the Hero of Time has been passed down, and on one specific island, Outset Island, it is traditional for the young men, when they come of age... Oh. Sorry, I got a text and got distracted. It is traditional for when the boys of Outset Island come of age, they will do a small trial to prove their courage, and after that, they will be given green clothes that resemble the Hero of Time's clothes, which they will wear. This happens at about the age of 12. According to the developers, the Link here is 12. Yeah, meet Link. He has just completed this ceremony, and yay, he gets his green clothes. He lives on Outset Island with his grandmother and his younger sister, Errol. Where are the parents? Why do we never have a Link with parents? I mean, we do once. It's never explicitly stated, but we get it in one of the books. And that parent is dead. It's only one parent, and he's dead. All Links are orphans, just so you know. Orphans are being raised by their grandparent or uncle. It's weird. Errol, as present to Link, for a big accomplishment, lets him use her spyglass? What's the word? Telescope! Telescope. Link uses it, and he sees the Helmrock King with a girl in its claws. This girl is Tetra. And the Helmrock King is being chased after by a pirate ship. Tetra is a pirate captain, and that ship that's following is her crew. Her crew is doing their best to save her because she is the one with the brain cells, and they are mostly useless without her. They do one good thing on their own. They successfully hit the Helmrock King with a cannonball, making it drop Tetra, who then lands on Outset Island, and Link is like, might as well go help. This sounds intriguing. So he goes, he finds Tetra, who is stuck in a tree, helps her down, and escorts her back to the beach where she can meet up with her pirate crew. This is when the Helmrock King comes back. He swoops in and grabs Errol. Did I mention that, the only identifying thing that the Helmrock King is looking for is girls with pointy ears? which distinguishes them as Hylians. I mean, yes, this is a bird. Ganondorf was doing his best when explaining to the bird how to find Zelda. But still, there has to be other checklists. The Helm Rock King grabs Errol, flies away. Link is like, oh no, that's my sister. I gotta get her back. That's when my favorite character of this game shows up. And he's my favorite because when reading the Wikipedia for this, when reading the books for this, his name just keeps popping up, and I'm like, why is this guy everywhere? And I developed my own theory about him, and I think it's hilarious. And I'll get to it when I get to it, because it's written in the script, and it is funnier than I could ever describe now. This is Quill. He is the mailman. He's also a member of the Rito. But more importantly, he's the mailman. Quill shows up, does a little bit of explaining about how the Helm Rock King has been seen around capturing young girls, and then he tasks Tetra with taking Link to go save his sister. Tetra's like, okay, but only because it's kind of my fault that the sister got kidnapped. If it weren't my fault, I would not be helping right now. Link, Tetra, and her crew then go off to... They sail off to the Forsaken Fortress. I want to know who built this fortress and why it's forsaken. Because I don't think there was one in Ocarina of Time. And I think it had to have been built after the flood because it's on an island, or it was really lucky placement. That aside, they get there. The pirates load Link up into a barrel and then shoot him out of a cannon at the Forsaken Fortress. Either Tetra knew that this would work and was fine with it, or she really did not care and just wanted this kid out of her hair. Either way, it's hilarious that they just shot him out of a cannon at the place. It's successful, mostly. Link does get a mild concussion from this, from his landing. But he's there! He's on the Forsaken Fortress! Finds Errol. She is in a cage. Two other girls there who are kidnapped, thinking maybe this is Princess Zelda. Again, it's a bird. It doesn't know what it's doing fully. So Link finds Errol. Unfortunately, this is when the Helm Rock King shows up and yeets Link off the island again. Link blacks out, maybe from the concussion, maybe from the hit from the Helm Rock King, maybe because when you're hurtling towards an ocean, I too would want to pass out rather than experience that. I'm going with the third one. Never mind, I'm going with the first one because Link has grown up with the ocean, he's not fazed by it. Luckily, Link wakes up, not dead, or drowning in the ocean. Link wakes up having been saved by the King of Red Lions, a talking boat. I know you have questions right now, and I will do my best to answer them to the best of my ability, because this boat, I know you have questions about it. Are lions real in Hyrule? He's called the King of Red Lions. Are lions real in Hyrule? Did they exist? Or is this the equivalent of naming something the King of Pink Unicorns? Are they mythical creatures, or are they real? If they are real, I have so many more questions. Where did they live? What did they eat? What monsters could they beat up? What monsters do they stay away from? Could they win a fight against a Kokoro? I need to know if they could beat the chickens. These are all questions I don't have answers for. I very much so wish I did, but I don't. The King of Red Lions has so many implications. Not to mention, this is the King of Red Lions. If you don't know, most of the monsters in the Legend of Zelda series have a color-based hierarchy, where red is usually the lowest. So yeah, he may be the King of Red Lions, but a blue lion outranks him. I have so many questions. Back to the talking boat. Yeah, the talking part isn't important. Spoiler. He is King Daphne's no hands in Hyrule. just as a boat. And either two things happened. Either this was like his own power, the goddess's power, turned him into a boat for his bravery of staying with his kingdom, or that fight with Ganondorf, he got cursed to be a boat, and Ganondorf was very surprised to see him in a human form again. I think it's the second one, because that's funnier. But it's never explained. Right. King of Red Lions lore dumps on Link a little bit, tells him who Ganondorf is, what his plan is, and that only the Master Sword can stop Ganondorf. Also, Ganondorf is the one behind the kidnapping of Link's sister, Errol. Link decides that if nobody else is up for the job, then he is. Link chooses himself to go to pick up the Master Sword and kill Ganondorf. And when I say kill, I do mean kill. This is not a defeat situation. This is outright murder by a 12-year-old. I'll get there. Yeah, so new quest. Brand new quest. Kill Ganondorf. Save his sister. First step to completing this quest is retrieving the 3 goddess pearls, which he can then use to be able to get to the sunken, bubbled over Hyrule Castle, which is where the Master Sword is right now. And to make this entire journey easier on everyone, the King of Red Lions gives Link the Wind Waker to make it so that way the wind is always blowing in the sails of the King of Red Lions. First stop is Dragon Roost Island. This is the home of the Rito. So one know who's gonna come back? One know who's gonna come back? My favorite, my absolute favorite, Quill. I don't fully remember what I wrote here, so let's see. I know he does show up again later, and I'm obviously hyped for that. Dragon Roost Island. There they meet Prince Komali. He actually has the first of the Goddess Pearls, which is Din's Pearl. But it's a family heirloom, so he's not just gonna give it up to Link, like now. Yeah, here he is! On Dragon Roost Island, Quill shows up and lore dumps on Link because their spirit deity, Valoo, has been going on a rampage recently. He's very upset about something. Nobody knows what, because he kind of speaks Old Hyrulean, and nobody speaks that anymore, so he's a little bit hard to understand. It tells Link about the thing where Valoo gives the Rito one of his scales and then they grow wings. The implications, man, What happens if Valoo dies? Like, spirits and deities and dragons have been known to die. Cough, Volvalgia, the ancestor of Valoo, which is something I don't have time to go into. Anyway, Link decides, okay, if I'm not getting the stupid pearl, might as well be helpful to these people. He teams up, somehow, with another Rito named Medley. This is Medley. And he goes up, he ascends the mountain, and there he finds why Valoo is so angry. There is a monster in his nest. This monster is Goma. Link kills Goma. Valoo is chill. Link goes back down and is like, I fixed your problem free of charge. And that's when Komali is like, you're so cool and amazing. I want to be just like you. I am no longer afraid to go up and get my scale from Valoo. Thank you so much. I'm going to do that soon. As thanks, here's that thing you wanted. First Goddess Pearl obtained. Cha-ching! Next stop is Forest Haven, where the Koroks live, with the Great Deku Tree. And, this is adorable. This is absolutely adorable. The Great Deku Tree holds a ceremony with the Koroks, where they all sing to empower the Great Deku Tree, so that way it can plant a whole bunch of trees that will hopefully one day soak up all the water and return the Great Sea to the land of Hyrule over time. The Great Deku Tree is winning. Forget Ganondorf's plan. I'm going with this one. This one's better. It's slow and over time, so it's not a sudden change. Even though I wish it was sudden, because I don't want to be on the ocean anymore. It gets rid of the ocean, most importantly. And it's done by cute little seed guys all coming together and chanting. The Great Deku Tree, when Link arrives, is like, yeah, sure, I'll give you the pearl. But first, you gotta stay for the ceremony. But oh no! All the Koroks have to be there. And one of them isn't there. This is Makar. He got lost in the Lost Woods, which is a forbidden place for the Koroks. And the Great Deku Tree asks Link if he will go save Makar. Link does. Oh, Forbidden Woods. That's what it is. Forbidden Woods. Not the Lost Woods. Forbidden Woods. Link goes into the Forbidden Woods, finds Makar, and defeats Kaledemos, the boss of this area. Don't know why I thought that was important to note. Link and Makar then return to the Great Deku Tree, the ceremony commences, and Link is given Farore's Pearl! Yay! We're 2/3 of the way there! This game is almost done! I'm lying! Last stop is Great Fish Isle, where the water spirit Jaboon lives and has Nehru's Pearl. Yes, Jaboon is the descendant of Lord Jabu Jabu from Ocarina of Time. We don't have time to go over this. When they get to Great Fish Isle, Jaboon is not there. Also, the place is entirely wrecked. It looks like it's been ransacked and attacked. That's when Quill, our favorite mailman, arrives to tell Link what happened here. Turns out Ganondorf attacked here. Lord Jaboon fled to Outset Island and hid in a cave at the back of Outset Island and then closed a giant stone door, which is apparently indestructible. But Quinn has an idea. Maybe if he goes, messes with the pirates, something will happen. Now look, Quill has either got to be the busiest busybody to ever busybody, or he has plot detection. I don't know which is funnier. Cause this Rito guy just being in everyone's business, he can read their mail, never mind. Just kidding. I don't think he would do that. He has all the integrity. He's the best character in this game. I think he has plot detection. I like it when they have plot detection. Link then sneaks over to Windfall Island, where the pirates are docked. It's their home place. And he learns two things. First of all, Tetra's crew has kidnapped Cannon, the owner of the bomb shop, who has made very special bombs that can destroy that giant stone door. Convenience! 2. Link learns the secret passcode to get aboard Tetra's ship. Tetra needs better crew who won't say the password out loud. I mean, I know Link was sneaking there, but still. Write it down, pass it to each other, and then burn it. Come on, guys, you're supposed to be pirates. You're supposed to be cooler than this. It's good for Link, though, because now he can get onto Tetra's crew, Tetra's ship, steal the bombs, use them to explode the Great Stone Door. There he finds Jaboon. Jaboon then gives him Nehru's Pearl for some reason, because Link has gone through too much trouble for this pearl already. Might as well just give it to the lad. From there, Link takes the pearls to the Triangle Islands and gives each of the pearls to their respective statue of their goddess. And that causes the Tower of the Gods to rise up from the ocean. Kinda cool. Link has to scale this tower to get to the top to ring the bell, which will then summon a portal. This portal will take him to the Sunken Kingdom of Hyrule, specifically in the castle. That way he can pull the Master Sword and then he can fight Ganondorf and win and save his little sister. So yeah, he climbs the tower, defeats Godon, the tower boss, which is a robot, and I have questions about. And one day I will do a separate video about all the weird robots in Zelda, in the Zelda series, but that's not today. We're doing this instead. He rings the bell, the portal appears, Link and the King of Red Lions then go to the Sunken Kingdom of Hyrule, where the monsters are all frozen in time. Link pulls the Master Sword, and then time begins to flow to the castle. This proves that Link is technically the reincarnation of the Hero of Time, but we know it's not, because the Hero of Time took the soul with him. Link chose himself This 12-year-old was so determined that Fi recognized him as the owner of the hero spirit, even though he didn't originally have it. That's impressive. This 12-year-old is going places. Link then heads out of the castle and goes back to the Forsaken Fortress. That way he can defeat the Helmrock King. That is successful, and while he's battling the Helmrock King, Tetra saves Errol for Link, because somebody had to do it, because he was going to be distracted fighting the giant bird, so Tetra and her crew save Errol. Link then moves past the bird to fight Ganondorf, only for the Master Sword to fail, because Ganondorf killed the sages of Wind and Earth. He thought ahead. Who knew a Zelda villain could think ahead? I'm lying. There's one that's somewhere else that honestly I think is the smartest one. Like, impressively smart. But yeah. Also, when Link pulled the Master Sword, Ganondorf's full power was unsealed, meaning that he went from where he was to full power in an instant. It is no wonder Link almost gets killed right now. Yeah, Link almost dies in this encounter, only for Tetra to show up and save him. And this is when the Triforce snitches. Because the Triforce wants to be whole. So when two pieces are near each other, or two parts of pieces are near each other, they'll be like, "Hey, yo! I know that one!" Ganondorf obviously has the Triforce of Power, and Tetra's necklace has half of the Triforce of Wisdom. Ganondorf is like, "Oh, would you look at that? I've been looking for that. Give me, please." Tetra's like, no. And before anything else can happen, the Rito come in to save the day. That's right. It's my boy Quill. It is that prince kid whose name I already forgot. I think it's Kamali or something. Yeah, Kamali. But more importantly, Quill, plot detection, or busiest busybody to ever busybody. They swoop in, they save Link and Tetra, and then Valoo comes in and sets fire to the entire Forsaken Fortress. What a cool move. The Rito are so cool in this game. Almost makes me want to play it if I didn't hate the ocean so much. After all of this takes place, the King of Red Lions is like, okay, I should probably explain some things. Tetra, come with us this time. You also need to be filled in on what's going on. So Tetra, Link, and the King of Red Lions go back to the Tower of the Gods, hit the bell again, go through the portal, emerge in the sunken kingdom of Hyrule, in Hyrule Castle. There, the King of Red Lions tells us things that I have already gone over, and reveals that Tetra is Princess Zelda's descendant. Tetra then gets a magical girl transformation when reuniting the two halves of the Triforce of Wisdom, and turns into Princess Zelda. Except no, her name is still Tetra. Like, they can call her Zelda all they want. Her name is Tetra. She may be wearing the princess's clothes, but she's still Tetra. Which is why this next bit is even more confusing. The King of Red Lions tells Link that he has to awaken the new Sage of Earth and Wind, who have to be, like, descendants from the old ones, which, questions, but forget about it. Link also has to find all the split-up pieces of the Triforce of Courage, reunite them together, and bada bing, bada boom, they can then go fight Ganondorf. Meanwhile, Tetra has to stay here. I'll go over the problems with that in a minute. Yeah, Link returns to the Great Sea. There, he brings Makar to the Wind Temple, where he is awakened as the Sage of Wind, and Medley to the Earth Temple, where she is awakened as the Sage of Earth. Along the way, he finds all the pieces of the Triforce of Courage, brings them back to the Tower of the Gods, and there, all the pieces merge together into the Triforce of Courage, presumably with a few cracks in it. And Link is now the holder of the Triforce of Courage, and this is technically when the King of Red Lions explains, like, the Hero of Time Reborn stuff, but, like, pulling the Master Sword is actually the impressive part. Fi's very persnickety, okay? She won't let you pull the Master Sword if you are not the soul of the hero. Got it? We saw how persnickety she was in Ocarina of Time. Link was not 17 yet, so she wouldn't let it pull it. Yeah, Link then goes back to the sunken kingdom of Hyrule, only to find that Tetra has been kidnapped by Ganondorf, because this was the stupidest possible plan. Yes, let's take Tetra, who now has the full Triforce of Wisdom in her possession. Let's keep her in the sunken kingdom of Hyrule, which is hard to get into or out of, but Ganondorf knows how to get into it, knows where it is, and could probably assume that this might be where they go next. Let's leave her there. Let's leave her all alone. And while, yes, Tetra is super cool and strong, Ganondorf is kind of known to need 2 people to take him down. I'm just saying, like, it took Link and Zelda plus 6 other people to steal him away in Ocarina of Time. 1 person isn't gonna be enough. I'm just saying. Yeah, let's leave her down here alone. What do I think would be a smarter move? Return her to her pirate crew, who are proven to have want to keep their captain safe. They've already done it once. They saved her from the Helm Rock King. They also are on a boat, meaning that they can travel around constantly, meaning that they are not solitary in one place that is predictable to go and find. This was a bad move. King Nohansen lost his half of the Triforce of Wisdom, and instantly all sense went out his brain. It just went, whee! Stupid idea. Yeah, Ganondorf kidnapped Tetra, and now he is at Ganon's tower. So Link and the King of Red Lions, they go to Ganon's tower. Link scales the tower and finds Ganondorf in the throne room with Tetra, who is under a sleeping curse for the time being. Ganondorf rambles about his plot a little bit, and here's where I need to pause and talk about Ganondorf's plot, because I fully agree with it. On paper. As someone who is on land, I agree with it. Because his plan, his idea, is that with Hyrule flooded, the people have been wasting their lives because they can't accomplish anything like this. They need to be back on Hyrule where they can build and progress. And they clearly aren't doing that here. That's a lie. That is absolutely a lie. He just hasn't bothered to look. Yeah, so he wants to bring back the Kingdom of Hyrule. Of course, he will then be King of Hyrule, because, you know, he brought it back, so... Just saying! Ganondorf is looking at this as someone who came from Hyrule, and not as someone who was born and raised on the Great Sea. Because the people of the Great Sea have made some vast leaps in technology. They have cameras. They have prototype cameras here. I haven't said about anything about it yet, but they do. That is an advancement. They are living and they are thriving in their new island homes. And I think that snapping away the water will be just as cataclysmic for the people of the Great Sea as the original flood was for the people of Hyrule. Less death, obviously, but still, it will set them back in terms of how they live and their culture and lifestyle. So it's a bad idea. Bad idea all the way through. Great Deku Tree has it better, where slowly, over time, less and less water, people can acclimate to more land slowly as it goes on. Yeah. So while I agree with Ganondorf's plan, I don't agree with it for the people of the Great Sea. But Ganondorf can't see this. He's blinded by nostalgia for the Kingdom of Hyrule. After monologuing all of this, Ganondorf transforms and fights Link. Link beats him, and then he transforms back to normal. Ganondorf then takes the sleeping Tetra and taunts Link. Then he catches Link completely off guard and takes the Triforce from Link. He already took it from Tetra. And now the full Triforce is summoned in front of him. And he's about to make his wish. And that's when King Daphnes rushes in and says his wish faster. He wishes for Hyrule and Ganondorf to be buried beneath the sea. And the kingdom of Hyrule starts flooding again. This is where Link and Tetra together fight Ganondorf. And in the end, Link gets the finishing blow on Ganondorf. And this is where I have to talk about the coolest thing in all of this. Even cooler than my boy Quill. Link, the way he kills Ganondorf, he stabs the Master Sword through his skull. Words don't describe how cool that is. And Ganondorf turns to stone from how cool this is. This is the most brutal kill. This is like the first kill. Like, yes, Skyward Sword Link did kill Demise. However, he slashed him in the chest, giving him time to bleed out and get the curse out. Ocarina of Time sealed him away, sealed it away, killed, dead, gone forever. Most effective strategy, just stab Ganondorf through the skull. Link and Tetra are then magically pulled up back to the surface, and King Daphnes No Hands in Hyrule says one last goodbye, because he's gonna stay in Hyrule. He's gonna stay with his kingdom even as it floods. And he says goodbye. The kingdom of Hyrule floods, Tetra returns for a crew, Link returns to Errol, and that's it. They set off to find new land. That is Wind Waker's story. I'm done. I'm done with it. Just kidding. I have things of note because this game actually is really interesting and dark for that kill. So let me go over my notes. Number 1, the Zora evolving into the Rito still baffles me. It makes me pause every single time I think about it. 2, 7 out of 10, too much water. 3, the final flooding of Hyrule at the end is actually really impactful because we'll never return to Hyrule again. Not the Hyrule that we've known. It's gone forever. 4. So you know how Fi is still sleeping in the Master Sword? And how Fi was stabbed into Ganondorf's head? Yeah. Link left the Master Sword in Ganondorf's head. Fi is now forever buried in the kingdom of Hyrule, in Hyrule Castle, under the sea. Never to be seen again. Never fulfill that promise to Skyward Sword Link, saying, may we meet again in another life. And knowing this hurts my soul. She's gonna be down there for the rest of eternity, fulfilling her purpose, even though it's no longer needed. Because guess what? Number 5. This game officially ended Demise's curse. Because the spirit of the hero is not here anymore. All that's left is the blood of the goddess and the last incarnation of Demise's hatred, which was Ganondorf. With Ganondorf killed in a brutal way, might I add, Demise's curse is done. That evil won't touch the world again. Meaning that Fi has sealed away an evil that won't be back. Meaning that she's forever thinking she's fulfilling a purpose, even though she's not. Because it's finished. And oh my gosh, this hurts. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get emotional, but I really like Fi. yeah, that's kind of it. That is the end of my notes for Wind Waker. And with that, I'm going to move immediately on to the next game, so that way, 1, I won't think about 5 being in the Master Sword being forever sealed underneath the sea again, and so that way, 2, I can get the ocean games out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Phantom Hourglass, the game that I feel is filler. There are other games on here that don't take place in Hyrule that can technically be counted as filler games, but Phantom Hourglass, maybe it's because I don't care about the ocean games, but I feel like this is filler, so I'm going to run through this as fast as humanly possible. Are you ready? Are you ready? Good. Ready? Set. We're speedrunning this. So Link and Tetra and Tetra's crew are currently sailing, looking for new land. This is when they sail into the realm of the Ocean King. This is a neighboring area to the Kingdom of Hyrule. They exist. I haven't gotten to go over into any of them yet. These areas were still made by the Golden Goddesses and therefore are under their protection, but they were not under the protection of Hylia, technically. Just outside of the Great Sea is the Ocean King's domain. And here, there is the Ocean King, who is a giant whale who rules over this area. There is also a great evil. This evil's name is Bellum. Say hi, hello. Bellum is eating away at the Ocean King's life force because it's yummy and he sustains himself through life force. Bellum has gotten so far through the Ocean King's life force that he has taken over the Ocean King's temple. Not only that, he's running out of life force to eat, so he creates a ghost ship, spreads rumors that it has a great treasure just to lure people onto the ghost ship so that he can eat their energy too. A few months after Wind Waker, unknown amount of time, Tetra and her crew sail into the Ocean King's domain, and they hear about this rumor of the ghost ship that is kidnapping people, and they're like, well, might as well go and fix that problem. Maybe get that treasure along the way too, right? They investigate. They find the ghost ship. Tetra boards, only to not return. So then Link boards, only to have this happen. Link goes onto the ghost ship, instantly blacks out. He's like, what is happening? He then wakes up on Merkay Island. Merkay? Mercy? I don't know. I'm not going to try to think about it too much. Here, he finds that a fairy named Celia and an old man named Oshus have saved him. Celia has memory problems. Oshus is mysterious. I'll get into that twist later. Link wants to get back to the ghost ship, find out what happened to Tetra, but he can't. His best lead right now is to go into the Ocean King's temple, see what's going on. Here's the thing about the Ocean King's temple. The longer you're in there, your life force is getting sucked away by Bellum. So Link goes down there. He finds somebody who was alerted by the allure of treasure. Everybody say hi, hello to Linebeck. Linebeck has a boat. Linebeck is currently trapped in a trap. Link helps Linebeck out of the trap. And Linebeck agrees, yeah, sure, I'll help you on whatever this quest is. That way I can get to that ghost ship and get that treasure. Link also gets a sea chart that will help him navigate the Ocean King's domain, realm, whatever. In order to find the ghost ship, Link has to find the spirits of power, wisdom, and courage. And that is what this journey is about. Link will go out to different temples, and then he'll get more of this hourglass stuff that will allow him to go deeper into Oshus' temple, allowing him to get more of the sea charts, allowing him to go explore further. Do you see why I feel like this game is filler? No offense to anybody who really likes Phantom Hourglass. I just don't care. Eventually, Link finds the spirits of power and wisdom. And that's when Oshus tells everyone that Celia is the spirit of courage. Gasp! That's why she has no memories! Link can now get onto the ghost ship. There he finds that Tetra has been drained of all her life force and therefore turned to stone. Oshus shows back up, reveals that he is in fact the Ocean King, and he also tells us that Celia is not only the spirit of courage, she's also the spirit of time. What? This has so many implications that I can't even go over it in this video. That's for a different video that I'm working on, and it has me mind-boggled. The Ocean King also gives Link the Phantom Sword to kill Bellum. Link goes, he fights Bellum. This is when Celia reveals she is the spirit of time, uses her power to help Link during the fight. Link successfully fights off Bellum, returning Tetra's life force to her so she's no longer stone. But then, Bellum goes to part 2 of his boss attack and possesses Linebeck. Oh no, Link's gonna have to kill his new friend. No, he doesn't. He successfully beats Bellum without killing Linebeck. Good job, Link. With Bellum dead, Link and Tetra then wake up back on Tetra's boat. Because this whole game was a dream. Maybe because they see Linebeck's boat off in the distance. Maybe it wasn't a dream. Or maybe it was and Linebeck was also sucked into the dream. Doesn't matter. That's the end of Phantom Hourglass. I don't even have any words or notes or comments for this game. I don't care. The Gorons do show back up here, as do the Anuki and the Yuk, who I will go over the Anuki in the next part here. But the Yuk are like Yetis. That's all I've got. This took like 5 minutes. I'm done. I'm done with the ocean games. Sweet glory. The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks is the funniest possible answer to the question of what should the new gimmick for our next Zelda game be? Trains. Absolutely brilliant. I have no notes whatsoever. So in case you couldn't tell, Spirit Tracks is the game of this timeline that I have played, and it's the only one that I care about, because guess what? It does not take place on the ocean. That said, still the funniest idea for a Zelda game. Like, whoever pitched it, absolute mad lad. Like, can you imagine that meeting? What should our new Zelda game be? How about trains? Our medieval fantasy game needs a train section. I imagine that whoever pitched that either had, like, the strongest pitch concept ever, or they said it as a joke and the joke went too far. Either way, it gave us Spirit Tracks, and I think that's funny. And I know that I could look up who actually pitched it, but I'm not going to, because I like my version better, and you have to live with that. Hi, hello, I'm on the floor for a very important reason. You know when I said, where I'm gonna edit this, it's probably like 2 seconds ago. You know how I said that I wasn't gonna look up who had the idea of Spirit Tracks? Well, my curiosity got the better of me, so I looked it up. It's not all that hard to find. And I'm honestly, like, kind of glad I did. I like it. So let me find where I wrote about it. So I found the direct article on Nintendo's site. It is an interview between... I'm so sorry. I'm about to butcher some Japanese names. I'm so sorry. It is an interview with Ichi Ayanama and Daki Iwamoto. Ayanama was the producer for Spirit Tracks, and Iwamoto was the director. They also worked as producer and director for Phantom Hourglass, and they are having this interview with the now deceased Nintendo president, Satoru Iwata. And from what I understand from this interview, they wanted to move away from the ocean, and sweet glory, I am so glad that they did. Bless them for that. They wanted to return to land, but they also wanted to keep a faster system of travel. And so they were trying to think about that. And while thinking about that, that's when Ayanama thought about a picture book that his son really liked. This book is called, I'm about to butcher this again, Senro wa Tsuzuku, or in English, The Tracks Go On and On. This book is basically about some kids laying down railroad tracks, and they'll come to an obstacle and they have to figure out a way around it. So they go through a mountain, rivers, a different road, and a pond. And by the end, they build the train station and ride the train all the way back home. Ayanama said, direct quote, "Something about it seemed as though it would fit with Zelda. but I didn't tell the staff about this book. So he told them the idea without mentioning the book. And they all agreed. They liked it. And the original idea for Spirit Tracks would be that Link would lay down the tracks as he went along, meaning that he would, like, progress on foot, laying down the tracks, and then he could fastly travel via the tracks. They spent a whole year of development making these train tracks and figuring out how they would work. And then they decided to scrap the element where Link can lay down the railroad tracks. Spirit Tracks was developed in 2 years, so they spent half of it on on an entire idea that they mostly scrapped. But yeah, we have Anyama's son to thank for the trains, because he really liked the book. Side note, in the interview, it starts off, Anyama and Iwamoto said that no one on the team originally was a fan of railroads or trains, and that they had to, like, really do research for it, which goes completely against my idea. What my original idea was, that it was someone who was very much so a fan of trains who pitched the idea, which I am not alone. In the interview, the question that they're answering was Iwata, president of Nintendo, asking them if anyone was a fan of trains on the team, implying that he also had the same thought I was, that somebody who really liked trains pitched the idea. And yeah, that's what I found. I think that's really interesting. It was fun to, like, read about the behind-the-scenes stuff. That said, I will not be doing this for any other game, because I'm here to talk about the lore of the Zelda series, and this just doesn't fit. Also, this is the art up close. I'll also take a picture of it, so that way you can see it in the actual video. But, yeah, back to the above-land me, who's talking about the lore. How did we get here, though? Not in terms of development, because I'm not looking that up too much. And mine's funnier. How did we get in the lore of the games from ocean and boats to land and trains? Easy. The answer is Tetra and her crew. And Link is there too. Remember that at the end of Wind Waker, Link, Tetra, and Tetra's crew were sailing off to find new land. And they were still doing that in Phantom Hourglass at the end of that one. They eventually found land, guys. No more ocean, sweet glory! And it's here where I have to pause before telling you about how they founded their new kingdom of Hyrule, because they do name it Hyrule. New Hyrule. Because nothing bad ever happens to a land that's named Hyrule. This microphone is too much power. It's so powerful for me. Before I can do that, I have to tell you the backstory about this land that we're in, because it does have its own backstory. However, I am not going to keep on calling it this land or the land that will become New Hyrule. Instead, I am going to assign it my own name. Because I can, and because I don't want to keep on saying this land. It doesn't flow. Yeah. The land that will become New Hyrule, I am dubbing Locomo, after the people who inhabit it, the Locomos. It's the same as calling Americans Americans, guys. I'm in America, therefore I am an American. The Locomos live in Locomo. You have to live with that. That's my personal opinion. This is my personal thing. It's never actually called that. Let's go into the history of Locomo! Once upon a time, the land of Locomo was super chill, and it had the spirits of good reigning over it and protecting it. But every land has, like, some variant of evil eventually, conflict. In Locomo, that conflict evil is named Malladus. And much like Hylia and Denise before, Malladus and the spirits of good go to war. This war takes forever. The spirits of light realize that they cannot, in fact, kill Malladus. They can seal him away, though. We know of 2 weapons that the Spirits of Good had, one of them being the Bow of Light and the Locomo Sword. You understand why I'm calling this region Locomos, right? Anyway, they devise a very, very clever plan to defeat Malladus. What they'll do is they will first temporarily defeat him, because they can bring him down. They just can't kill him. They don't have the power to kill him, unfortunately. The Spirits of Good knock Malladus down, and probably out cold. They then wrap him in chains and create a lock for the chains. These chains have the power to seal away Malladus' power within the ground, the very earth that they're on. That is where he's sealed. He's sealed under the earth due to these chains. The chains get this power from the 4 temples that are in each direction on the land of Locomo. And so the power goes from the temples through the chains to the lock. And that all keeps Malladus sealed. And the Locomos uphold and make sure that those chains aren't breaking, that the loop is continuing to loop well. Here's the fun thing. These chains aren't chains in a conventional sense. And this lock is not a lock. This lock is the Tower of Spirits. And the chains are the spirit tracks. That's right, this land had built-in train tracks. Funny. It's funny, guys. I can't emphasize enough how funny the concept of spirit tracks is to me, and I don't know why. After creating these chains and the lock and sealing away Malladus, the Spirits of Good are unfortunately out of energy. Kind of like Hylia when she finally sealed away Denise. Didn't kill him. Just like these guys didn't kill him. That's up for a future generation to handle. And a Link. And a Zelda. Malladus is the boss of this game. They leave the Locomos in charge of maintaining the spirit tracks and the land itself, and then the Spirits of Good disappear. Presumably, they are chilling with the Golden Goddesses. That's my personal headcanon. Now, we can finally get back to Tetra, who has sailed to the land of Locomo. She claims it as her own and will build a new Hyrule here. Not long after landing here, also an unknown amount of time, once again, between Phantom Hourglass and New Hyrule being founded, but we at least know it happens during Tetra's lifetime, making it the shortest amount of unknown time to date. Good job, guys. Actually, no, there's just a few months between these two, and it is unknown. Second shortest. Isn't long before the remaining Hylians meet up with the Locomos. You know, they're both on this land now. Also, the Gorons are here. I think the Gorons... Okay, I didn't get to talk about it, but in Wind Waker, the Gorons are nomadic and are just traveling by themselves. You see one that is like a trader, like a traveling salesman. And here we will see that the Gorons have set up a new establishment already. So either the Gorons were here first, like between, you know? Or Tetra and her crew get here and then the Gorons get here? I'm not sure. But I think it's funnier if the Gorons get there first, personally. What was I saying? Right, the Locomos. They meet up with the Hylians who have just landed here. And Tetra becomes friends with one of the Locomos named Angine. Angine will eventually kind of be the surrogate leader of the Locomos. I'm not sure if they have one, but she will become the guardian, the protector of the Tower of Spirits, which is like the highest level of duty. So I think she's like essential mayor of the Locomos. But yeah, Angine becomes good friends with Tetra, and New Hyrule is founded. We don't know how long it takes. We don't know when they start. We Don't know why, but, well, we know why they want a kingdom. Tetra will be the ruler of this kingdom. And Angine gives Tetra the spirit flute, which these are panpipes. They're panpipes. I just want to make that known. The spirit flute is actually one of the sacred instruments to the Locomos. It helps to maintain the spirit tracks. And there's a different instrument in each of the temples. And this one goes to the Tower of Spirits. That's what this one goes to. That's what the sage flute is for. She gives it to Tetra and tasks her with protecting this land and maintaining the spirit tracks, just like the Locomos have been doing. Tetra agrees, and New Hyrule is founded. Angine will then become the protector of the Tower of Spirits. Meanwhile, Tetra has at least one child. And that child will go on to have one child. That grandchild of Tetra's is Princess Zelda for spirit tracks. We know this because Angine says that Zelda is a lot like her grandmother being Tetra, who Angine was good friends with. We also know that Zelda's grandmother would play the spirit pipes for her, which is why she knows some of the songs, and why she currently has the spirit flute in her possession. I called them spirit pipes earlier because they're pan pipes. Oopsie daisies. Yeah. So Tetra dies. Yeah, she dies of old age, presumably. Or on a great adventure at an old age. Either works for her. And then I have questions. I have questions. Because when Spirit Tracks starts, Zelda is in charge. Princess Zelda is in charge. However, she's still Princess Zelda. And she is also under the care of her Chancellor Cole, implying that she isn't of age yet to become queen? Which makes me wonder, where are the king and queen? Which leads me to the only conclusion. Zelda is an orphan and Tetra's child died. Young. Like, not young, but like younger than Tetra lived to be, for sure. And with this, we can actually add Spirit Tracks to the board, because I'm about to start the actual plot and not the backstory. I'm so hyped. Even though this, like, doesn't have much story, I'm so hyped for the train game. Okay. Our story starts with Link. Link is a young train engineer, and he is about to get his certificate to be a full-blown engineer by himself. He can drive the train by himself. It is noted that Link is especially young for this position. His age is unknown. I don't know why, but out of all the Links that I don't know their ages, this one bothers me most. I'm guessing somewhere in his teens. Like, I don't think they're letting a 10-year-old drive a train. But it is Hyrule, so you never know. Link lives with the only surviving member of Tetra's crew, Nico. Why do I mention Nico? Because he's the only person left from these games. And even though I may not like those games, it does hurt to only see one of them left, all by themselves. Oh, Nico will also have you collect a bunch of stamps, and I'm a completionist, so that's important to me personally. Link is the apprentice of this guy. This is Alfonso. Alfonso was once a royal guard at Hyrule Castle. And for unknown reasons, he decided to switch career paths, even though everyone in his family was a royal guard before him, or royal knight before him. He decided, yeah, I'm done with this. I want to drive trains. And so he did. And now he's teaching Link. Link meets up with Alfonso. And Alfonso gives Link one last final test. And this is the tutorial for you, the player, to understand how to drive the trains. Link will go from where they are, I think it's Outset Town or Outset Village, and they will go from there to Hyrule Castle. They do. There, Link goes into the castle. He has a small encounter with Chancellor Cole, who says something ominous. He's not very subtle about being the second bad guy, guys. Link then goes into the castle, where Princess Zelda will give him his certificate of being a royal engineer. Or just an engineer, I guess. No, it's a royal engineer. Zelda wants to be all, ceremonial about it, but Chancellor Cole comes in and is like, oh my gosh, please, just give it to him and let's move on. Hurry up, please. Zelda visibly deflates from this and just gives Link his certificate, but she also passes him a secret note and tells him to read it when he's in private. Now, if you're me, after that cutscene plays, I instantly opened it right there in front of everyone in the throne room. Presumably, Link did go someplace where no one could see the letter and read it. The letter that Zelda wrote, she asks Link to sneak into her bedroom. Now, he can't do that through the normal route, so she draws a secret passage, the map to a secret passage to get into her room. Once in Zelda's room, she explains to Link about how the spirit tracks are disappearing, and you've heard rumors about it at this point. The spirit tracks are disappearing, and she is concerned. However, Chancellor Cole will not let her leave Hyrule Castle. But Link can drive a train, and Link can do it on his own. So if Link could pretty please take her on his train to go to the Tower of Spirits, that would be great. Please and thank you. Link is like, I have no sense of what a bad idea is. Let's do it. So with Link's help, Zelda sneaks out of the castle to the train yard, where unfortunately, Alfonso is waiting to congratulate Link. Zelda does know Alfonso because, like I said, he was a royal knight or guard or something. He's like, Zelda, you are not supposed to be out here without an escort of some sort. And Zelda explains the situation, and then she goes, Alfonso, you were once a knight, or a guard or something. I can't remember which one they call it. So that means you have the training to protect me. Would you pretty please accompany me on this journey that is very important for everything? And Alfonso's like, I can't just let the two children go by themselves. It's crazy enough that we let this kid drive a train. Fine. I'll go with you, and I will protect you, and I will protect you with my life. Please don't get me killed. My words, not his. The three of them then hop on Link's train and go towards the Tower of Spirits, but gasp, oh no, the train tracks underneath them disappear, and they crash. Link's train is broken. They crash, and also, they look up and they see that the Tower of Spirits is pulling apart. Its top part splits off, its middle part splits off, its bottom middle part splits off, and those three parts, I think it's technically 4 parts and I just did my math wrong. Those parts are all floating in the air, all willy-nilly, and it's crazy. Oh no, what is happening? And that is when Chancellor Cole comes around. And he comes on this demon train. Not gonna laugh at Demon Train. Chancellor Cole shows up on the Demon Train, and he also has with him his trusty sidekick, Byron. I don't know how to say this guy's name. I think it's supposed to be said Byron, but I also like to call him Burn. We'll see. I think I've gotten used to saying Byron now. Chancellor Cole then takes off his 2 top hats because, yes, this man is wearing 2 top hats, and there is a very obvious reason to reveal he has 2 little devil horns because Chancellor Cole is in fact a demon in disguise. Gasp, no! He wants to resurrect Malladus so that way his demon king can rule over the new Hyrule. And Byron is on his side for reasons. I'll get to that later. Thing is, they need one little thing to resurrect Malladus. That thing being Princess Zelda's body, so that way Malladus can possess it. It's very specific, presumably because she has the blood of the goddess in her, but it never specifically says that. And that's just my interpretation of why Zelda's body is the perfect host, but just roll with it. Alfonso is like, no thanks, you're dealing with a knight. And Byron is like, more like ex-knight, you left. And Alfonso is like, I'm sorry, who are you? And then the two fight. Alfonso holds his own for like a solid 3 seconds, and then Byron uses magic and smacks him, and Alfonso is now down. Meaning that the two children are left alone. Link is like, ha! No way! I don't have a sword yet! Dang it! So Link tries to protect Zelda, but it does not go well. Link also gets knocked out. Zelda, now alone, tries to fight and run, but fails, and magic is used on her to yeet her soul out of her body. So that way, this entire time when they're getting the ritual set up, they will not have to deal with an active human person. Just a lifeless human body. Their plan is actually going really well. Link and Alfonso then wake up in Hyrule Castle in the Infirmary Bay. Alfonso is still too injured to move. And Link is like, okay, well, I gotta go figure out what's happening. Because Link can hear Zelda crying. And he goes out into the hallway and he sees Zelda's spirit. She is a ghost now. She is spirit. I have lovely art back here of Zelda as a spirit track Zelda. I love it. What was I saying? Yeah. Zelda, as Ghost, is now currently wandering the halls of her castle, begging the guards to see or hear her. And the most reaction they get is, it's kind of cold in here today. Like a little shiver down my spine. No other questions, but Link can see her. So he follows her, and the two unite in Zelda's room, where she is like so happy that somebody can see her, and begs Link, more demands a little bit, she's a little pushy, that Link will help her get her body back. Link's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna need a train for that. Zelda's like, don't worry, I've got the perfect idea. Also, grab those magical panpipes, we'll need them for later. I have a feeling in my soul. And if not, then I just want them for comfort reasons. Link is like, okay, grabs them. And Zelda reveals that there is a secret passageway that leads from Hyrule Castle to the Tower of Spirits. Now, there's a reason why they did not use this in the first place and instead tried to go by train. They were trying to be sneaky. And currently, and at all times, there is a guard in front of it, in front of the entrance. So they can't get in. That's still a problem right now because Link can't get in. Zelda instructs Link to steal a guard uniform. So he does, puts it on. And with this, he can then go to the guard trainer guy and be like, hi, hello, I'm a new recruit. I require a sword. To which the recruit is like, child 15-year-old maybe? Sure, have a sword. Hyrule is so irresponsible with everything. I love it so much. Give the 10-year-old a sword. Yes. He's like teenagers, in my opinion. I was talking more about here. Give the 10-year-old a sword. Let's do it. Nothing can go wrong. Link, now with a sword, can get past the guard because the guard is like, oh, well, looks like you're fully equipped. Go on in. They go through the secret passageway to the Tower of Spirits, where they're at the very bottom floor, and there they meet. Link and Zelda make it to the Tower of Spirits. There they meet Anjean, who tells us a little bit of the story that I have already told you. She also informs them that in order to save Zelda's body, they will need to get to the top of the tower, because that's where Chancellor Cole is going to do his ceremony, so that way Malladus can possess Zelda's body. Zelda's like, okay, yeah, how do we do that? I would like my body back, please. She has her priorities straight. This is the best Zelda so far. No offense to any of the other Zeldas, but like, this one's playable. Angie and says, okay, first you've got to go up to the first floor of the tower and get the rail maps. So that way you can activate some of the spirit tracks that have disappeared. Link goes up. He's gonna try to find the rail map, but oh no, there's a phantom in his way. These are the phantoms. They're giant suits of armor. They were created in this game only, because they do appear here, but different technically. Here, they were created to protect the Tower of Spirits, and they were doing a good job until Malladus took over, and therefore they now see Link as an enemy, so they're gonna attack him. Link tries to fight one singular phantom, and instantly has to retreat. He goes back down to Anjean and is like, I don't know how to fight them. Anjean tells him that he needs to collect 3 light tears? Oh, sorry, 3 light stones. So Link has to collect 3 light stones, which are in the floor, on that floor level. Once he's collected them, he can then hit the phantom from behind, stunning it. Then he can proceed forward. Link does so, and he stuns the phantom and is going to go forward, and that's when Zelda finds out, oh my gosh, I can possess the giant suits of armor. That's right, this Zelda is playable, and she is playable as a giant suit of armor, which is amazing. Spirit Tracks gets the award of first playable Zelda. Get wrecked, Echoes of Wisdom. I'm very much so looking forward to that game, but still, Spirit Tracks was first. And technically, Hyrule Warriors was second. I'm just saying. Yeah. So they do that, Zelda possesses the phantom, and they get the first rail map. From there, Spirit Tracks appear, and these Spirit Tracks will lead them to the Forest Temple. And that's what this loop is going to be. Link will go to the temple. He will play a song with the Locomo that is stationed there. This will open up more Spirit Tracks. With those Spirit Tracks, he will then, with more Spirit Tracks on the board, then part of the tower will reconnect to the Tower Spirit. He can then go up more, get the next rail map, make more rails appear, go to the next temple. Also solve a few people's problems first. And the train that they will be using is the Spirit Train, which has been in the Tower of Spirits this whole time. Anjean just wanted to have them do this first, because they need the more rails to get to any of the temples. Yeah, they go to the Forest Temple, the Snow Temple, the Ocean Temple, and the Fire Temple. Then, after they deal with all of those problems, they return to the Tower of Spirits, where Anjean is nowhere to be seen, but Byron is there. And so Link fights Byron, and properly gets revenge for what happened earlier. He beats Byron, who then retreats like a coward up to the top of the tower. Link is having none of this because, hi, hello, we were in the middle of fighting? Get back here, please. I may have started off this game as an engineer. I am now out for blood. He follows him up the tower. At the top, Chancellor Cole has completed the ritual, and Malladus is currently possessing Zelda's body. Zelda is like, ha! Not on my watch, and goes to try to possess her body back. Malladus is already in there, so she can't. She's effectively bounced back like he has a shield. Unfortunate. Now that Malladus is back, Byron is like, oh my gosh, sweet glory, yes! You can finally give me that power you promised. And, Byron then asks Malladus for power, only to get absolutely denied, because as my 7th grade history teacher said, turncoats will not be ever fully trusted by either side, because they have shown that they will turn for advantage's sake. Yeah, Byron is one of the Locomo. He was Anjean's apprentice. He was supposed to take over her job when she died. But then he heard about the power of Malladus and was like, I want that. I want to be powerful. I want that. So he has been helping Chancellor Cole with bringing back Malladus. But now Malladus denies him and then blasts him with energy, causing him to be knocked out. And then, because the villains are all cowards in this game, Chancellor Cole and Malladus run away on the spirit train, on the demon train, into the Dark World. Or maybe it's the Demon World. What did I write? Dark Realm! I was so close. They do this on the demon train. Angine then shows back up, because she knows better than to go to where the evil is when she is this old. Like, she's properly ancient, guys. Like, she has an excuse for letting the youngins do the work, and for her to come and lore dump at the end. And that's what she does. She does a little bit of lore dumping. A way that they can defeat Malladus is by getting the Bow of Light, which was used by one of the Spirits of Good back when they were fighting Malladus. And this Bow of Light is not like any of the others that you will see in the series, because those are different. They are from Hyrule. This one is from Locomo. This Bow of Light, when shot, the arrow will force the spirit out of the body. Therefore, if they shoot it at Malladus, who is in Zelda's body, his soul will be forced out, letting Zelda be able to repossess her body, and then they can fight him from there. First, they have to get the bow. Yeah, the bow. And to get the bow, they have to go to the Temple of Sand, which has been hidden. But Angine gives them a Force Gem that reveals the tracks that lead there. So they go there, they do the thing, they get the bow, they come back to the Tower of Spirits, and Angine is like, so yeah, there's a downside to all of us being good guys. I don't know how to find the Dark Realm. Luckily for everyone, we currently have a turncoat. Byron is going to redeem himself. Yeah, Byron swaps sides again and tells them that if they want to find a way into the Demon Realm, they will need the Compass of Light, which will point them towards the Demon Realm. Luckily, it just so happens to be in the altar in the Tower of Spirits, so he gives it to them. Also, I think Byron has been unconscious on the back of the train this whole time. I'll admit, I have not gotten this far in my game of Spirit Tracks, because, I'll explain that later. But, the way it's described is Link puts Byron on the back of his train, and then he isn't mentioned again until this exact point, so I have to assume Byron has been unconscious, probably tied up on the back of Link's train this entire time since getting knocked out by Malladus. I think that's funny. Before they depart to go do the big confrontational battle, Angine first gives Link the Locomo sword, one of the other weapons wielded by the Spirits of Good, and she also has Zelda possess one of the Phantoms, which are now back under her control because Tower fully realigned, meaning that Angine is now back in control of the Phantoms within. So Zelda now has a suit of armor. Link has an epic sword that can seal away darkness. No, this one can kill darkness with the right hands. And together they hop on Link's train. Byron is also there, I think. Or maybe not. It's I don't know. Again, I have not gotten this far in my actual playthrough of the game. They hop on the train, the spirit train, and they go into the Dark Realm to fight Malladus. First step, train fight. I really, really, really wished this was two trains fist fighting. It's not. It's not two trains fist fighting. But Link wins the train fight, forcing Malladus and the demon train to stop, allowing Link and Zelda in Phantom armor to hop aboard. But it's a ruse, because then Chancellor Cole starts up the engine, and the demon train goes again, and now Malladus is shooting lasers at them, and Cole is also doing an attack of some sort. And this is all happening on top of the train. But Zelda is out for her body, and more importantly, she's out for the metaphorical blood of Malladus, because she doesn't want to make her body bleed, she wants to make him bleed. And she gets up to Malladus, picks up her own body, and holds it so that way Link can shoot the light arrow, the bow of light at it, forcing Malladus to split out of Zelda's body. And now Malladus doesn't have the full power or control over his power, so the demon train crashes out of the Dark Realm and into some random fields in New Hyrule. And that is where the final battle will take place. Princess Zelda hops out of the suit of armor, goes into her own body, but she's having a really hard time controlling it. And oh no, Malladus is coming because he wants that body for himself, thank you. And because Zelda has been gone from her body so long, that's why she's having a hard time reconnecting with it. Meanwhile, if Malladus does take over, he'll take over instantly because he's been in it more recently. So things are not looking good. That's when Byron shows back up and holds back Malladus because he is also out for Malladus's blood now because he got turned on. And do not turn on a turncoat because that is a good way for that turncoat to turn back around and be your enemy again. I hope that made sense. But yeah, Zelda gets her body, and together she and Link will fight Malladus. Byron is killed. There's no other way to say it. Byron died. He died for Zelda, and so fully redeemed. Redemption arc full circle. Meanwhile, Malladus is like, you know what, fine, if I can't have that body, I'm having this one, and goes and possesses Chancellor Cole and becomes a beast form of himself, and Link and Zelda fight that, and that is when Link gets the second best kill by, once again, stabbing Malladus through the skull. What is up with the Toon Links and stabbing people through the skull? It's epic. Honestly, if Wind Waker Link didn't do it first, Spirit Tracks Link would have won. He would have gotten the coolest kill, but he's doing it second, so he has to go second. And with that, Malladus is killed. Like, actually killed. And instantly, too, he didn't just slash him and wait for him to bleed out like someone we know. Instant death. That's how you take care of your villains. The other Links need to learn. Yeah, with that, the big bad is done. And depending on what you said, what option you chose, right before the fight, Link will either go on to continue being a train engineer, go on to become a royal guard / knight, or if you chose I don't know, Zelda will just think back on their adventure, because Zelda returns to her kingdom and will rule as, presumably, Queen Zelda. Because I'm pretty sure the king and queen are dead, and she is fully in charge of the kingdom, so I don't see why not. Queen Zelda and Spirit Tracks, let's do it. Well, yeah, that's it. I do have some notes, just my final thoughts on Spirit Tracks, because I do enjoy this one, and I do have thoughts. Let's see. Number 1, this game was designed for the DS. So was Phantom Hourglass. But I care about this one more. I'm sorry, Phantom Hourglass fans. I'm so sorry. It takes place on the ocean, and I don't care. It's so much water. So much death. You can die. Don't think about it. The way that... I think that Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass would be very hard to adapt to any of the new consoles. Switch, and whatever the Switch 2 is going to be. Because it requires a DS stylus. You move Link around by drawing on the stylus pad area. In the touch screen. And you can't really do that on the Switch. So a little would be lost in adaptation. Making these two very unique. Also, you can mark on the map. And it also, this game has one of the hardest elements in any Zelda game I've ever played. In order to play the Spirit Flute, you have to blow onto the DS itself, which has detection for that, I guess. And I am so glad that I was playing this on my 2DS and not my normal DS Lite that I've had for a super long time. Because that one, my DS Lite, it does not the ability to sense when somebody's blowing air on it does not exist. And I was kind of worried that I could not complete Spirit Tracks because of that, but luckily the 2DS does it fine, so I was good. That said, when I started playing Spirit Tracks, I was recovering from being sick, and this was very recently, and this is why I have not finished Spirit Tracks. I got to the first temple, got to the end, and it's like, oh, an instrument, cool, I'll just tap buttons. And then I learned that you had to blow on the screen, and I had the slight panic thinking about to my DS Lite. But once I learned, oh no, my 2DS can do it, I failed. I failed playing that stupid song of 3 notes so many times because I was sick. And I either coughed or could not take a deep enough breath to play the song. The playing of the spirit flute is kind of a nightmare. And to prove my point, I actually have my 2DS here. Why have you forsaken me? I actually have my 2DS right here. And it's blue because I like the color blue. So we're going to let this boot up, and I will play you a song on the spirit pipes. Reference, that's what it looks like. You move around. If I was better, I would play Megalovania on this. But I'm not, so I can't. But just know that I really, really want to. One day. Things of note number 2. There are some new and returning races. I already talked the Gorons are back. I think it's really funny that they made a civilization. They do worship a mountain goddess, which, because it said goddess, as in singular, made me instantly start having a bunch of theories about Hylia, but now it's just a local mountain goddess. And I have to accept that. I have to stop making theories all the time. The new race, that's also kind of returning, I just didn't cover it here, is the Anuki. They are so persnickety. They're the worst. If they don't like someone, they won't be around that person. To the point where an outsider, Link, has to help them figure out who they will pair up with for actual, guard patrol to keep their village safe. And if he doesn't pair them right, then they just won't do it. 3. Spirit Tracks Link is one of only 5 links with only 1 game. Okay, now look. It's technically 3. But does Link's crossbow training actually count as its own separate game? I don't think so. I don't think that one counts, guys. So I'm saying Twilight Princess Link still only has 1 game. I guess I'll go over that later. And I will not be diving into the weird question of the 5th Link with only 1 game. Just know that as of right now, it is only the Hero of the Sky and Hero of Trains who only have 1 game to their name. Got it? Good. 4. The relationship status of Link and Zelda. Because I think this is really funny to do, and nobody can stop me! Yeah, I think they're canon. They went through way too much to not be canon, or at least be best friends for life, because this is the only Zelda that goes on your adventure with you. So, I ship it. Link is canon here, in my opinion, and nobody can stop me. That's kind of it for Spirit Tracks, and the adult timeline as a whole. Nothing else is really known to happen. This is the official end. As far as we know, life in New Hyrule will be peaceful forever. And they will forever be riding trains. Because that's hilarious. Oh my gosh, I forgot the funniest part. Guys. Okay, so you know how Byron died? So after the battle, Angine shows up. And she's like, it's okay. I'll use my magic on him. Uses her magic. And then goes, his soul will be fine. He'll reincarnate one day. At least that's the vibe. It's worded really weird. But you get the vibe that Byron will one day reincarnate. So that way he can live a good life. And then Angine says, well, my job here is done. Actually, the job of all the Locomos is done. There are only 5 of us, including this guy. So we're done. We're gonna peace out, kind of like the spirits of good and the golden goddesses. We're just gonna ascend to heaven right here, right now. And then they do. What? I lost my mind. I lost my mind when I read that. I'm like, they just wanted to give it. I have no words for how funny that is. So yeah, they're gone. The Locomos are never to be seen again because they all ascended to heaven spontaneously. One of them will reincarnate as a Hylian one day, I guess. We don't even know if it'll be as a Hylian. That's just my guess. I almost forgot about that. That's so funny. So funny. And out of nowhere. And, yeah. Zelda and her continuation forward, her descendants, will be charged with protecting New Hyrule. Which, I mean, like, they were already gonna do that, so. But yeah, that's the end of the adult timeline. 2 water games that I don't want to think about again. One about trains. It's a wild ride, guys. And we will not be coming back here again. Say goodbye. That's a lie. That's a lie. Just wait into the Hyrule Warriors bubble, where I finally get to go into all of my thoughts. We have to save the Hyrule Warrior bubbles for when I have sanity to spare. I can't wait for the Hyrule Warriors bubble. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I am so sorry to anyone who was very much so looking forward to me talking about Wind Waker or Phantom Hourglass, because I just pulled the rug right out from under you, because I sped ran this, and I was very upset the whole time I was talking about this. Final thoughts. Quill is the best character in Wind Waker. Change my mind. And Spirit Tracks Zelda is the best Zelda. Change my mind.